You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Hour, the show that brings you unfiltered stories and insight from the Twin Cities real estate world with your hosts, Chris Rooney, broker at RE/MAX Preferred, and Andy Presky, leader of the Preferred Home Team at RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
Hey.
What up?
Guten Morgen.
I think my voice is just because of allergies, which I claim I don't have. But everyone says, oh, you must have allergies because I feel totally fine. So anyways.
It's getting springy out there, or?
Can you see?
No. Is the lake unfrozen?
Oh, yeah. It's been unfrozen for a long time, but there was white caps on it yesterday. It was so windy, super windy. And my garbage container that I haven't brought in for 2 days is now laying in the cul-de-sac. So might have to go pick that up.
It's a good idea.
Where's Boy Wonder?
He should be coming.
I wanted to tell him he can't do the show without me. I said I was retired and moving just to recorded video, but I guess not.
Yeah, we got to figure out some things. But
I'll tell you.
anyway,
on this, it's always just been that same exact time every week, and that's been for 13 years. And so I think it just that's what it did to me. I love coming on and doing this stuff, but it's just the same time. So when it kind of fluctuates, then I don't think it's so bad. So
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what about all the big news with the agents handling the rules? Are you seeing it affecting yet, or no?
What rules?
You can't
There
pay
ain't no rules.
Guidelines.
The only thing that changed, a couple things that have changed. But I'm just going to talk about Minnesota. There's a lot of states that don't have buyer representation agreements, so they have to have those. You have to have them signed before you start going out, that's the law. You're supposed to have done it anyways. So if people weren't doing that, well, that's their problem. And then the only other thing is that in the MLS, we can't state a buyer's broker compensation. That's it. Nothing else. Everyone said, "Oh, you're price fixing," and you know what? Hey, Andy, I went to real estate class in August of 1990, and the one thing that was told to me at that time, and it still holds true today, that commission is negotiable. It always has been, always probably will be. It's been negotiable, and they're all putting in the papers and online that you don't have to pay 6% anymore. You never had to pay it if you didn't want to pay it. It's the stupidest thing in the world, and there's so much misinformation, and the fake news is at its peak. Obviously it's affecting us, but here's the other thing. Do you know how much money people are getting that paid these outrageous commissions that they agreed to? They're getting $10 to $20 a piece. That's what they're getting, and the attorneys got $80 million. So figure it out. I mean, Jesus, wow. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is.
You sound like you didn't like the settlement, Chris.
No, I don't care. I think fine, whatever. But it's just tell it what it was. That's what I say. Just say what it was.
It was a money grab.
It was very simple what it was, and these guys have been going after this for quite a while. I don't know if, Remax actually settled something, 3, 5, 6 months ago. And then NAR did, and then all the stories came out. So I think the other thing that is not probably a good thing that did happen was that you do not have to, as a realtor, you do not have to be part of an association. And I think that's really kind of the thing that they wanted to do, because you start breaking up all the realtors and the lobbying efforts of that. I mean, it's just going to hurt the real estate market. And boy, what else is happening? And everyone's buying all the homes, and now try to get the realtors not together, because what's going to happen? More likely, a lot of realtors are going to get out of the business because they don't know how to navigate through this. We've had to navigate through it for the last 34 years. It changes all the time. And some people just aren't able to do it. And a lot of people use the old, oh, hey, I can represent you. It doesn't cost you a penny. The seller is going to pay it for me. And that's,
Well, and I think honestly, Chris, it's a little bit of a, they got to the point of where they started waving the white flag and surrendering these technology companies, right? They've come along over the years, and they've tried to offer now let me preface this by saying this. They're not trying to take commissions away. They're trying to take them for themselves, meaning the big click.com, book a showing, online this, discount that. They don't want a discount, just so you know. Anybody with a billboard, anybody with advertising on the radio, anybody with whatever, they have huge expenses. They need those commissions to pay for all those expenses. All they want is they want their share of it instead of you taking it as an industry. So they've preyed on these, they call them the 7% commissions for years. The one thing that they can't figure out, Chris, the human element, the part that is the most absolute important, influencing, decision-making, helping, assisting thing is human element. They can do all the math. They can do all the websites. They can do all the everything else, but they can't replace the human. So that's very frustrating to them. So instead of replacing them, they've tried to destroy their credibility, period. So when they destroy the credibility of the realtor, they're a bunch of greedy fat pigs that just make 6% and all they do is rip people off. Well, guess what that does? That puts us into the, the average consumer's like, well, I don't want to do business with a greedy pig. I want to do business with somebody else. And like Chris, I'm sure you've already pointed out, the greedy pig realtor probably made you $40,000, $50,000 more. And I'll give you an example how this works. I'm sitting there this weekend, and I had a client that called in on a referral and said, hey, our mother passed away, and we want to know what our house is worth. And I'm starting to get this a lot more. And where people call and just say, hey, we just want to know what it's worth. Don't worry about coming over. Don't worry about whatever. And all the red flags go off in my head. And what ends up happening is I go, so what are you really looking for here? Yeah. Well, we've already got an offer from this company that wants to buy our house for cash. And we just want to make sure we're not getting ripped off. Well, in the new world we live in, I might charge money for that service versus right now I do it for free. But I said, you know what? Let me do it just for fun. I need to come over to the house. Well, we don't have time to meet with you. I said, give me the combo. I'll go through myself. Okay, but if you could get that to us back by the end of the day, knowing that their contract probably expires on the offer that they received, and I come through the house and I say, 309. They're like, are you serious right now? 309? And I said, do the math on that. Minus my, 5 point whatever that I charge for a listing fee. I charge 3 and I pay out 2.7. And I go, we're, right in that, you're going to clear somewhere in the 280, whatever it is. And I go, and that's if we don't get into multiple offers, which I think we might even go higher than that. And they go, well, we have a guaranteed offer in our hand for $256,000. And so we might just go with that. And I go, I'll pay you $1,000 a day not to do that, to go with me. And you'll still be money ahead, because what you're not reading in the fine print is that they have not viewed your house yet. They did a drive-by or they did an online evaluation. Once they come to the house, they make adjustments. Oh, we didn't know that window was rotten. We didn't know that roof had a hole. We didn't know that siding over there needed to be replaced because you never told us that. And so our offer now is going to get adjusted, minus our fees, which were 12%, by the way. So they were netting like 220 something. And I go, oh my God, you guys. In the old days, we called this equity stripping. This used to be against the law, and now it's a common business practice. And I'm telling you, fiduciary responsibility to the consumer is needed. You need somebody that gives a crap about you. You need somebody that's going to fight for you. You need somebody that's going to say, you know what, guys, this is wrong. And that's all I was providing to these guys because they were past clients of mine. I said, as a fiduciary coming into this situation, I advise you not to do this because you're leaving money on the table. You think it's easier, but they go, but we don't want the liability. We won't want that. I go, do it as is. We'll sell this thing clean as a whistle. They'll never call you. They can't call you. They can't come after you. And end up turning it around. But I'm like, how many of those fights do I not even get a chance to help people with that happen every day? And these consumers, you know what? Those attorneys that have done all of this and that have created this riff in our industry, shame on them because all they're doing is taking their money. In my opinion, they did a horrible job negotiating. They didn't get very much change for a lot of money, so they won because they just wanted the money. And that's what it proved to me because there could have been a lot more things done with the MLS. There could have been a lot more things done with access. There could have been a lot more things done with a lot of things. And they skipped all of it because we settled. And I just think it's absolute crap. And anyway, so anybody that thinks this is a good thing for our industry or for the consumer, I think it's the opposite. And whoever helped those people do that should be penalized.
Hey, Andy, next time you have one of those deals, you tell them that you have someone that'll give them $10,000 over their highest net that they're getting from that company, and you'll have it guaranteed sold too. Because I would buy it every single time. I had one, I just was figuring out where you were talking from where they said that this is just from where they said they would list it at. Okay. I should actually figure it out from actually where it's sold. All right. Well, they would have paid for it. So if you would have put commission on top, we'll just say it was $212,000. So that's what they would have gotten. I had them put $5,000 worth of work in it, and we got $392. So what is that? $200,000, almost.
Wow.
That's what they were offered. And then obviously they were smart enough not to take it, but that's who they called because it was an estate type deal, just to kind of like, hey, just free me from this. And that's what a lot of people do. And, but to do that, and then they said they listed at like, 148,000 less than what we got for it if they did it listed on the market. So yeah. And you said another thing about, let's just say all this happens. Okay. And It's like, hey, I'm a listing agent and they're paying me. No problem. Everything's good, but we're not going to pay a buyer's agent. And then people don't do that. I mean, how do you think that buyer's going to do in that negotiation during the whole thing? I mean, they're not. And here's the other thing is that, so if on a for sale by owner, this happens all the time because I deal with it a lot because people say, well, I have a couple of friends that want to buy it. Great. No problem. Talk to them. But I'll guarantee you what they want is even if it's not, the commission's not even 6%, they want 6% off the price because you're not paying a commission.
At least. You
want to save the 6% because, you're going to make more money. Well, so
they want 6% and they want 10-year ago pricing.
And the other thing is the seller is going to say, you know what? Hey, this is great. What we're going to do is we're going to list our house 3% lower because we don't have to pay a buyer broker. That's what we're going to do just because that's a good thing in which to do. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Everyone's going to want to get the money grab. And the thing is what you're missing in the middle is being represented. Now, are all agents worth 6%? No. Totally 100% not. I totally agree with that. And I think that's going to kind of.
But let me ask you a quick question, Chris. So when you talk percentages, okay, and you talk about risk thresholds, when you're a consumer and you go out there and you're saying, hey, I hope you believe in me enough to help me sell my house or help me buy a house, and I want you to invest all your time, energy, effort, money into me to make sure I'm successful. But I'm not going to guarantee you anything. Okay. So here's what's going to start happening, guys. You're going to have real estate agents. And I'll tell you, some real estate agents are used to making a lot of money. So that equates to, let's say, $200, $300, $400 an hour. And you're out showing houses and you go, God, we just showed, how many houses, and I owe this agent $1,600 for one day's showings. Are you kidding me? And I'm telling you, you get to that point of where you get what you pay for. And I'm telling, when some of these agents get lucky, that's the only example you can give me of where an agent hasn't really done a great job, right? Or if there was some kind of a misrepresentation where somebody was on the wrong side of the transaction. And I get it, there are those stories out there, but they're very few. But like one of the things that I'm a little upset about right now, Chris, is that there was so much misinformation. So I got a guy I got a buddy of mine that wants to buy this piece of land. Okay. And we've contacted this seller before, and they were like, you know what, let us go through the winter, and we're going to think about your offer, and maybe in the spring we'll take it. So we give this guy a call. He's back from Florida, and we're like, hey, are you ready to do the deal this spring? We're ready to go. We're still interested, and we'll still honor the offer that we gave you in the fall. And he goes, well, I thought houses went up, 20% last year. And I'm like, well, I said, fair enough. Why don't you tell us what you want and let us ponder what your offer would be? Now, this is me dealing with a seller directly. Okay. No representation. And he says, you know what? I just talked to my buddy, and my buddy told me to wait till the end of July, because he said in July, it's going to be illegal for commissions to be paid. So you'll have to do all this for free. And I said, I'm doing this whole transaction for 3%. I'm helping you as a seller. I'm helping my guy as a buyer. I'm doing the whole thing for 3%. You're going to net more money. And I said, what blows my mind, Chris, is that this totally off market. We called this guy. It's not on the MLS, whatever, right? So this is a perfect example of where people just don't get it. And then the other thing is that, think about this, all of you that are watching this that are saying, hey, well, what about sellers? What about buyers? This seller is thinking, I get to net the whole thing. I don't want to pay anybody anything because I'm keeping that money. And he's not discounting 6%. He's keeping the 6%. So the fallacy that's out there, people thinking that houses are going to come down in price. Nice fairy tale. I'd like to read it sometime. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anything else? Prices go crazy.
The thing is, Andy, though, it's always been that way.
It always has been, yeah.
It's always been this way. That's the crazy part about it. Everything's always been negotiable. Always has. People. And there's a lot of companies out there that will do it for a lot less. They will, and you'll probably get what you pay for, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you have a ungodly perfect house, and you want to put it on Zillow and do a couple open houses and sell it yourself, God bless you. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what I have the problem with. I have the problem with the lies that it's not true. It's not true.
Right.
It hasn't been true since August of 1990 when I started, but maybe it changed. I don't know.
Chris, I don't know when the law changed in Minnesota, but my whole career, I've 100% had to fully disclose representation at first substantial contact. I'm thinking about buying a house. Well, I'm a real estate agent, just so you know, just in case you cross paths or whatever. And you don't have to enter in any kind of agreement. But I've always said, when somebody talks real estate, I go, just so you know, I'm a Remax guy or whatever. And they're, oh, okay, cool. But first substantial contact. The second thing is commissions. When I fill out a buyer's rep commission, as long as I can remember, it's always said that the buyer's going to pay that commission, unless the seller's offering compensation that would equal or exceed that amount. Then they would be off the hook for that amount. Right. This is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. This has just been brought to somebody finally read the fine print. It's been around for years. I'm talking. I bet you I've been doing this over 20 years where it's been this way.
Yeah. Well, we had this same thing happen, and I can't remember when it was, but it was when agency switched. And what it stated was there's a buyer's agent. So what it used to be is that everyone in the transaction represented the seller because the seller was paying the commission, right? Yeah. Okay, but they said, you know what? The buyer needs representation. So if you're offering to pay another agent a part of the commission, that they have the ability in which to represent the buyer as long as it was disclosed to all parties involved. It's been going on forever. It was to try to make sure that the buyers were represented in the transaction.
Well, and I truly think, Chris, a lot of this comes from is, and no offense, God bless the Willow.coms of the world, or whatever you want to call them, right? That are out there.
Here we go.
I didn't name them. But I think there's so much misleading, false information that's not being at all disclosed. For an example, do you know that by entering this site without representation, you're basically a fish in a shark tank, and that we're going to sell your information to people, and we're going to go out there, and when you click something, we're going to charge that agent money to get your information, profit there, or we're going to take a percentage of your sale, because when you go look at that house and you decide to buy it and they write it up, this is where people get mad. They think they're buying directly from the sellers. They don't understand that they're whipping in a buyer's agent in there and selling you as a buyer's agent, right? Or your commission, right? And then they want a cut of it. Most people don't know that. I'm talking anywhere you get information online, it's 99% of the time a lead generation tool for real estate agents, mortgage companies, or whoever else wants to pay for it. And so be careful where you get your information. And this is where I honestly, I'm kind of, I have hard feelings about NAR, because NAR should be the National Association of Realtors. You should be able to go there and get this information, and it should be unfiltered, not sold, legitimate information. Here's the listing agent. You want to talk to that listing agent, click here. But NAR doesn't feel any obligation to do that, because they make money on the MLSs. By the way, a lot of those MLSs are privately owned. Nobody knows that either. So it's a good old boy network they're protecting. So all these MLSs that are out there, that's why some of these national companies that are saying, hey, we're going to go out with our own version of a multiple listing service, call it something different, and we're going to syndicate nationwide. The problem is that they don't communicate. It doesn't syndicate. There's penalties for cooperating with other, systems. So this lawsuit does help that a little bit too. So if you want to join the American Association of Realtors or the whatever, that's capable too. Sorry, Nick. I should really take a breath.
Nice job, Nick.
All right, boys. Hey, we're going to go into...
By the way, that's why I'm so dressed up. I matched my sign because I thought we were having a meeting. I didn't know we were going live today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
After let's have this meeting, but we got some interesting affordability news. I want you guys to check it out, especially for us younger people. It's getting tough again out there. But it's being brought to you by...
I'm actually agreeing with that now. That is true.
I am too.
Yeah.
It's being brought to you by, though, Andy Prasky. We got a beautiful little video here.
Hey, guys. Andy Prasky here. Buyers, you're frustrated. I get it. There's a lack of inventory that's out there right now. Affordability kind of stinks. But here's an option for you. New construction. Houses are being built this spring by builders. They're building inventory. They have model homes available. What's cool is you get everything under warranty, everything shiny brand new, but you can also get involved and customize a house. So if there's a house under construction, they might let you make all the selections, pick all the colors, but best yet, mortgage rate buy downs and other incentives are being offered right now by new construction builders that are not being offered by the existing market. So what does that mean to you? Can you buy a more expensive house with the warranties, everything shiny brand new, you got to pick everything, and it has a lower payment? You can. Give me a call. I'm Andy P. Ready to help you on your real estate journey.
Or same payment, but a lot more expensive house.
Yeah, right. It is pretty powerful.
Yeah. I mean, you drop. I mean, some cases, you might be able to afford $50,000 more. People don't understand that. It's all qualifying is all based on a payment, not a loan amount. It's a payment.
Sure. Yeah. There's some of our houses that are $800,000, $789,000, and they have with 20% down like a $3,200 a month payment. It's unbelievable.
Did you notice I shaved this, Andy?
I think we should zoom in.
Hi, boys. Hey, big article. Real estate expert warns no signs housing affordability will improve for buyers in the near future. And look at that. This is a new article, but they quote the 2020. A six-figure salary was needed to afford a median-priced home in just 6 states. Isn't that crazy?
It is. Well, let me ask you a question. Those that have access to the most important information are the ones that own these apartment buildings, and they do the analysts and the analyzing, and everybody's like, why are they building so many apartments? I think there's a lot of people that straight up can't afford single-family homes, and they're going to have to go to apartments. But here's the problem with the apartments. They're building market rate apartments, which are $2,300, $3,300 a month, and you can get a darn nice house for that. So I think that there's, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know.
It's even trying to win deals, I mean, it's not only that it's gotten more affordable, but it's also got really unattainable based on what you're able to do. So if you're a buyer that hasn't collected 10%, 20% of your down payment, it's really hard to compete with other people. I mean, I'll tell you, I lend a lot of help from parents. And what we do is we go in and just say, hey, here's what we'll guarantee it at this, yet we're still going to try to finance it at what we want. So if it's something just for instance, rather than going in and doing 3% down FHA, we come in 20% down conventional. And we state that ultimately we will go at 20% conventional, but if we can do lower, we're going to certainly try to do that. And then the kid can do it on his own, or the parents jump in and help, because that's another factor in accepted an offer. You want to make sure there's one thing about accepted an offer. The other thing is about getting it closed. And the less you put down, the appraisals are tight. Fact, simple fact. And if you put down 20% sometimes and the area is decent, they'll just waive that appraisal and not even work.
Yeah.
You go out?
I don't know. I think he's
I like
trying
proposing like this.
He wants me to talk more. Is what I think he wants.
Hey, so Andy, how are you going to help us though? I mean, the kids are struggling out here. Everyone's worried, and
you know what? I think you just got to hope your parents keep getting richer, and then we'll just feel bad when you want to come back to the States and buy a house, and we'll put 40% down for you as a second mortgage, let you get the first mortgage, and then as we go over time, we'll just start forgiving that money. It's a great way to slide through the wealth to the next generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you guys seeing that?
Yeah. A lot of parents don't want to do that either because they struggle with, I didn't get any help when I was a kid. Well, you grew up in different times. You also grew up when you could work at a gas station pumping gas and have 3 kids and a wife at home and have a very balanced life with a new car in the garage. That doesn't work anymore. The math doesn't work. It's a world where we have to have 2 people working. You have to have 2 incomes, and the incomes have to be good, and then the world works. But I mean, we were just talking about this last week, and I you guys always get mad at me, but I got a couple guys. I got one guy that's in the repo business, never been busier. Car repos are at an all-time high right now. People just can't make those payments. They're not making the payments, and they have to give on something. So car payments, boat payments, same thing. Boats, recreational vehicles, a lot of that stuff's coming. Consumer debt is struggling right now, and they're giving up these high-priced, high-interest rate loans. And so I don't know how that'll affect us yet. Other than maybe there'll be some good deals for the guys that have cash, but
Andy, I am shocked because for the last couple of years, you were saying the complete opposite and saying, oh, back then, we did this, we actually saved. And now you guys are coming around to the fact that it's not easy for the younger generations, but I'm happy.
You're also taking a job. You're also taking jobs though, like, for $90,000 a year when my first job was $4.25 an hour. So the ratios are different. I mean, it's like all the numbers have changed, and I'm not saying that they're against you. I don't know, because I don't. The one thing that I do know though is guys like Chris and I, we look at house payments a lot differently than young people do. Like I'm like, well, I really don't want to be over $1,500 a month. Well, that was my maximum. And nowadays I see kids taking on $3,000, $4,000 a month house payments, and they don't care because they've never seen stormy days. They've only seen blue skies, right? In their, not in your opinion, but in their opinion, they've only seen, good times.
Yeah, it's not just all that fine, but inventory also comes into play. And that's, I think, what's really hurting the people. And then those people move into the next thing. I mean, I just had someone that's moving and they decided, hey, I'm just going to keep my house and rent it out. Well, there's a lot of people that are doing that. Yeah. Rather than getting rid of that 3% interest rate, they're hanging on to it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the other countries that are more socialist, and Europe and England and all these other right? They're a lot of those areas, their houses are so unaffordable that they'll never afford a house. So like that house that's in downtown, London, and it's $7 million, but you get to rent it for $3,000 a month. Nobody can buy it at that price, so they don't ever sell them, and they just keep the income coming in. And so the wealthy few get wealthier, and that's where we're headed. So keep voting the way you keep voting, and we'll be broke, all of you, and there'll be a lot of rich people and broke people. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome. Hope you're on the right side of that. I'm not joking. You're in a society that doesn't care about the consumer ever owning anything. And guess what that makes you? A renter. And then you're always paying rent. There's always a payment. You're always working. It's kind of a treadmill that never shuts off. And if you ever do want to, you got to vote with the people that say it's important to own houses. It's important to own real estate. It's important to own the American dream that's not the American dream. Well, I'll tell you what, it is for a lot of people. When you ask a lot of younger people, they still want to own houses. They still want to own assets that someday get paid off and they don't have to worry about a payment on it. And, and it's like, that is still a goal for a lot of people. Nobody wants to pay rent forever. I don't know. I don't know how to help you.
I'm in the most expensive German city right now and one of the nicest neighborhoods. I got lucky. But people are making, in Munich, like 4,000 euros is pretty average for a decent job, but their rent, like my place, is about 2,000 euros for a big studio, So it's not many young people for sure. It doesn't seem like are buying in Europe. But
do you so like where you are, see, that's what I'm talking about. The ratios are different. Like, what do you make? What does it cost to live? Everything has changed, and that's I think where a lot of people got bamboozled here in the States is that, back when they started changing the inflationary factors, and then let's take food and fuel out of that and let's do this. So inflation this year is different than it was a couple years ago. The way they do banking now is a lot different than it was a couple years ago. If you go back to the old rules, we're broke. If you go back to the way they used to do banking, none of the banks should be in business. None of that, it's sad. And so they keep changing the rules to make things look good. And then you're like, why don't I feel the same? Why don't I feel like I ever get ahead? That's why they keep changing the rules. They just don't tell you.
Revolution. We need
Revolution,
something.
man.
Hey, well, going on with this, because you guys are talking about it. Renting is now cheaper than owning all of America's 50 biggest metro areas. What does that say?
Who produced that? I don't know.
Flipped.
It's Unusual Whales. They're legit. They post a lot of good stuff.
Cool.
That flipped. Holy moly. I do feel rentals are not as great anymore either. You're not getting as much as that you were getting. I don't know.
Well, people need to understand they can negotiate. So that's the other thing. Like when you walk in and you go to the leasing person, like, we don't negotiate. This apartment's $2,800 a month. And if you don't lease it right this minute, somebody else is right behind you. Don't be afraid of that anymore. Because right now vacancies are going up a little bit. They're creating too many opportunities out there, and there are deals to be had. So you know what? We'll sign a 2-year lease, but at this price. I want the 1-bedroom price for the 2-bedroom, whatever. And there's weird things they do.
Yep.
Crazy. All right, we'll get into a little luxury property up north, actually in your area, Andy. But first, we'll be brought to you by Chris Rooney Home Experts.
I was just 1 year old when my family started in real estate, where both my parents were agents. They also dabbled in investing in real estate, rentals, flips, and construction. After college, I went right into getting my license in July of 1990. As a 23-year-old agent in an industry that looks nothing like today, I had to know more for my clients to choose me. There wasn't Zillow or social media to tell them how good I was. I had to win them over with knowledge. With knowledge comes confidence, and with confidence comes results. All
right, boys. Diamond Lake in Dayton, Minnesota.
Dayton. Andy, tell me about the lake first.
If you like bullheads, this is the spot.
Bullhead Lake? Can you water ski? Is it recreational?
Oh yeah. I mean, it is, but I think the deepest part of that lake is like 8 feet.
Okay. So there's no like restaurants or anything on it either.
No, not right now. No. Just a lot of bigger estates like this here, or bigger properties. This property was 2 years ago for sale for $4 million, and it had a bunch of land with it, and it got sold to some, I believe it was a group home of some kind, and they were using it for. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. But it was. Or at least there's one right next door. There's 2 of them that are side by side. So,
okay.
How many acres is this one?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
3.
What is it?
Yeah, they subdivided it all off. There's 2 properties I'm thinking of. This one, there's one that has a big piece of land. I think this was the one that was Yeah, it's an oil family here locally, and they've owned this for years. They own all the land across the street and right next door to them. They must have just cut this out as just a lake lot.
Almost feels like a plantation type property.
Well, it was a very, it still is a very impressive property. That's probably a good deal for the lot and the location. I mean, this is kind of closer to Rogers if you think about it. Like if you look on that aerial photo off to the right, your Cabela's is about half a mile away. So those that in Rogers, so real close to Rogers. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep.
Dayton is where my brother lives. He's in a group home. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Dayton's great. It's
it's right by your house, Andy. It's not far from your place.
No, this is 4 minutes from my place.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Let me see some pictures, and I can talk hopefully smarter now that I know what the lake is about.
I mean, you can water ski and pontoon. You just don't see a ton of that out there.
The setting's fantastic.
Oh, that's why there's a pool.
Pool and a little shed. It looks like it's more than a shed. It looks like there's exhaust coming out of the top. God,
there's it's not right next door, but it's like 1 or 2 lots over. Is the guy that owns all the on ice capades or whatever, and it's about a 35,000 square foot house, and it off to the right over there. It's amazing, but this house is nice too.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very traditional.
Keep going. Is that tennis court? Tennis court?
Pool. Yeah, it's great. This is worth every day, all day long, the money that they're asking.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was going to say, maybe I'll move to Dayton. I'll move up by Andy. I said I'd never cross 394, but what the hell?
I've got you a couple times up here.
I know. This is kind of fun. This house, I don't like those step downs and stuff, but I'm just waiting for wallpaper.
We were talking about this at another group of real estate agents. We're talking about the step down family rooms that were so cool. So, so many years ago, and then everybody was paying extra to get them. And then nowadays people are like paying extra to get rid of them. Oh, there you go. See, it kind of had your name on that little bar.
It does. Chris. I think that's my ship's wheel. Oh, there's purple. No wallpaper. Wow. So someone already kind of threw their flair on here.
Yep. Updated it a little bit.
Smaller rooms. There's a little datedness tile there. That's a cool little porch.
Yeah, but I could work with that.
Totally.
I'd want the furniture to stay. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
This place is really beautiful.
Keep going. Look at that. That's part of it. That car is a couch. It's like the front of a car turned into a couch. How cool is that?
Yeah, they get to keep every car that hits the lake over there. And they
That's
make it
awesome.
into furniture.
Pull it out. Yep. All right. This is good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something. Got the old touches with the chandeliers and the stained glass. Pillar posted beds. Wow. It has a little... Oh, there's some wallpaper, yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking this was
there we go.
Yeah.
It's not bad when it's just individual bathrooms and stuff because you can always deal with those.
Yeah.
But it fits that era and almost kind of brings you back. Keep going, Nick.
It's just a look. It's a look, and it's like for what some people spend thousands of dollars to change the look of a room to nowadays, and I go, that you spent money to do this, and then all of a sudden, it's very subjective.
And all the showers are done, all glass doors. This is not a bad house at all for $1.3 million.
I agree.
Jesus. I wouldn't even tell you what this would go for in Prior Lake. Holy moly!
Probably $700
on a lake, on a usable lake.
Price a good $700-800. Well, now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make fun of this lake. This lake has its challenges. Certain times of the year, kind of smells like a swamp.
Okay, well that makes a difference.
Oh no, I would not.
Oh my God, and they got a barn.
Yeah. No, this is a deal.
You got to sell this one, Andy. Jesus.
I know.
It's a good deal.
There's no
Needs
dock
a little
though.
outdoor love, but that's okay.
You know, some people don't want a dock. I mean, that's the other thing about living on the lake. I mean, I have 2 docks, and I could care less if I went out on a boat. I'd rather not have a boat. I just like looking at it. And so there's a lot of people that do, and that's I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes marketing on the lake. There's different lifestyles that want to be on that lake, and some just enjoy the nature and the views and hearing it. And sometimes that's comes a really steep lot, which most people think that's a big negative, but it could be a positive for some people. So
For sure.
but I'm surprised that one hasn't sold. So
It's one of the hardest to get to. Like, you got to go up to Rogers, over and back down to get there. So I could see where, unless you worked from home, it's not a very, I shouldn't say it that. It's just not as easy to get to. It's a little more, but it's unique. And I like it because of the pool and the lake and the acreage. And
I think I'm going to go see that one. I'm going to go look at it. I can't believe I've been persuaded by the show to go look at it at a house. You got me, Nick. Plus, I want to go see Andy. He never comes down to Prior Lake, so I want to go up and see him.
yeah. What do you, so what would you just come up here just to preview it?
Yeah. Just want to see the opportunity because that's, to me, that's kind of, I mean, crazy as it might sound, but I think that might be an opportunity for a little getaway for someone kind of around this area. Got 2 people in mind, but I think just sometimes as a realtor, when you go out and you just look, sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, that's perfect for Prasky. I know Prasky would buy us, kind of thing. So
Right.
it just got a lot of the little pieces that I think could be pretty cool. And a lot of people, what they can do is maybe it's not their time yet, but it might be their time in 2 or 3 years. Well, they can rent it out in the meantime or use it kind of part-time. So.
Hey, this next video here is getting really popular. I've seen a lot of younger agents do this kind of style. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
That's what I had for dinner last night. Sleep. Please buy this shit. $288,000, but if you're working with me, I could probably get it for less. Starting off with a driveway. Where the fuck is the driveway? Right here, baby. I don't know if I consider this a driveway though. More like a fucking sidewalk. If you have no friends, this is for you. 1,498 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Need to take that shit you've been holding on to on the drive home? Right here, baby. Got the kitchen right here. The dining room right here. Kitchen pretty dope though. You like put couches here and shit. Let's go up the stairs. This is your closet for things that go in the closet. This is the place where she tells you every day, not today. Got the closet right here. This is kind of odd. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like in the middle of the room though. Ooh, and what is this? It must be the ensuite bathroom. Psych, bitch. Another fucking closet. Why the fuck? Whoever built this was definitely going through a divorce. Ginormous roof titty. Ensuite bathroom. You got your double sinks. Tub right here, a shower right here. Take a shit right here. Complimentary dog food. Look what's down the hallway. Your fucking kids. Holy shit. Isn't that fucking terrible? However, it does make it easier to yell at your kids. It is 11 o'clock. Go the fuck to bed! Demustify your clothes here. Walk-in closet. Great place to make SoundCloud music.
Look, I said I can't lie. I admit it. If you don't buy this house from me, then I'm getting evicted.
3rd bedroom right here. Definitely not the biggest, but it definitely serves its purpose. That's not the first time I've heard that. Fuck you, Ashley. They said, fuck this person's closet. I had twined on that.
Yeah, so those are getting popular. I mean, it's a lot of swearing, but it's interesting.
Oh my God, that's Cody. That's a Cody video right there. That guy swears every other word. That would be perfect for him. I can't believe, God, Andy, remember? I mean, you could never swear. I still can't do it online like that.
Yeah. Well, just like I think they're doing it for shock value, obviously. I mean, I let the occasional swear slip when I'm having fun, but I don't use it as like normal conversation. So like if you went to see that house with that guy, he wouldn't talk like that, obviously.
You never know.
Well,
I mean, you got to read your clients. I mean, this guy's going for a certain clientele. And I mean, I think there's a lot of people that would, that's kind of hip. And man, this guy's fearless.
I think you found your realtor then. That's not me.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. But hey, Andy, he gets likes and views.
At least he feels popular. That's cool.
Well, the other thing I heard is that it's the social media thing. I went to. Do you know Jen Butcher?
Mhm.
She's with Go Mortgage. Do you know her?
Yeah, I've heard
She's
of her.
in-
Yeah.
Yeah, her and Melanie Dunker did a event for us, kind of wine and reels, and so we basically went over a bunch of the stuff. And she was saying that the whole thing is you want to try to get them to watch the whole thing. It's all about getting them through the whole thing, and I think that would totally. It was longer, but it's kind of like you got to keep watching it, you know. And you'd probably share that.
Well, or like I like these jerks that always do the videos that say, "Watch this one till the end. It's funny at the end," and then you get to the end and it's not funny, and I'm like,
yeah, right. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, but yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I think this whole social media thing is just it's crazy. I mean, I get calls. I'm getting more calls. I don't know how people got my number, but I'm getting more calls for social media stuff and to redo this and redo that, and everyone has the greatest solution in the world. And I think you really got to kind of stick to who you are and what you are, and that's what you want people to see. You know,
I
you
literally
can have fun with.
approached
You can have fun.
I got approached to it by a guy that said my videos I'll get at least 1 million hits or more, and I started laughing and I go, okay, sure, you know what I mean. Let me.
Yeah, 1 million. That's awesome.
We're Christian realtors. Of course we know we're not really helping you buy your forever home.
We're Christian realtors. Of course we're going to write scripture on the studs of your new construction.
We're Christian realtors. Of course we'll show you a house on Sunday, so long as it's after church.
We're Christian realtors. Of course we're going to make sure your home has a firm foundation.
Boy, he's going opposites here.
I was waiting for him to swear. See, now I'm used to the swear. I'm waiting for him to say, "We're Christians." God dang it, you know.
Yeah, I thought something was gonna come too.
Me too.
It's funny.
Hey, so you were looking to buy a house?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I already found an agent that's gonna do it for $1,000.
For $1,000, man, I'll do it for $500.
500?
Yeah.
Oh, say less.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Dude, what are you doing?
I'm gonna come with you. 500, remember? Okay, here you go.
What's this?
That's the MLS app, so you can like look for houses and stuff. 500, remember? That's the one right there.
Yeah, that one.
All right, bet. All right, bro. Here's the keys. Let me know if you like it.
Wait, you're not gonna show it to me?
No, I'll be in the car. 500, remember?
Yo, Steven.
What's up, man? You like it?
Yeah, I love this house. Let's write the offer, bro.
All right, here you go. Let me know if it gets accepted.
You're not gonna write it?
500, remember? And make sure you get a good home inspector. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen for some people. I think there'll be a little flux of it, but I mean, I've had talks with. I've got a number of stuff that's coming, and I've had the whole talk with everyone, and everyone's like, "No, we're good. We'll just keep going the way we're going." So we'll see what happens. We'll still pay you, Andy, to sell our houses.
I just want to make sure, Chris, I'm getting my money's worth from you.
Yeah. I'll pay you. I'll pay you to do real estate radio hour. How about that?
I mean,
as long as you do something with the flip flops video, a flip flop video, I want that.
He's got some. He's been posting lots of content. He's ready. You're ready, Andy.
What'd you say?
You're ready to take the next step. You've been a content machine.
He's getting comfortable.
Yeah, it gets. Well, you know, the hard thing about content is like, especially Minnesota, where one day it's blizzarding, the next day it's hot and sunny, and you're fishing or what, you know, it's like it's a little tricky. You can't get too far ahead of yourself, because that's what I was doing a couple weeks ago. I was just cranking out some content, and I go, well, you know, even the clothes you're wearing will change seasonally. You know, if you're trying to stay relevant for the moment, unless you're in an office, and you know.
No, it's good. You're a natural.
Chris,
get a little more fun here. He's got to go. He's got a meeting.
He unplugged his computer again.
No, he's got a 9 o'clock. Hey, Annie, I got a little development here I found interesting near your area in Maple Grove. So this whole community sold for $44.8 million.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? Avery Park.
Nice.
Have you heard of this Avery Park community?
I've never been there, but it's a rental community. Yeah, they built a bunch of houses and they rent them out. There's one actually being built right now up in Blaine too, off of Lexington. And it baffles me, man, because these houses are great, and they're renting out at $4,000 to $6,000 a month, and that blows my mind. But yeah, it's just like an apartment or something, right? I mean, just like anything else that makes revenue, how much do you pay for it? How much does it return to you? That puts the evaluation on it.
So is it good for the community, bad, or what is your thoughts on it?
It's just another opportunity to rent. Again, the rich and the poor, man, I'm telling you. It's going to be I can't afford a new house because I can never save my down payment. So if I want my family to live single family with their own yard and everything, I guess I'll just have to rent one. And it, whatever. I don't mean to be a doomsday guy because that's not my thing. But on the other hand, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, we've created this beast ourselves slowly with decisions we make as society. And, it's like if people don't want to own, they don't have to own. It's no big deal. It doesn't matter anymore. It used to, voting rights and taxes and everything used to make a difference. You'd want expenses so you could write them off. And all that stuff's kind of gone away. The motivation's been kind of demotivated. And so you just have to want to own a house to own something that can generate asset, something you can tangibly see. Like people that don't have any money, don't save any money, and they blow all their money and they're deeply in debt. It's a different, perspective. When you're a saver and you're investing in your future and you're like, hey, instead of buying mutual funds, I want to buy properties that I can rent out to other people in the future. It's a different strategy. It's not right or wrong. It's just different, and a lot of people like investments that they can see, like, hey, I want to buy this cup for $10.99 at, wherever SeaWorld, and, you get what it does for you and you purchase it. Same thing with a house, it's just, what does it do for you? How much does it cost? Does it make sense? And to do it is, and some people will just drink out of paper cups, right?
For sure. Hey, how's the spring parade of homes? I know you were crazy busy. Anything good?
Good. It's we've gotten decent traffic through all of our models. There's definitely a lot of people taking advantage of that 4.9 30-year fixed rate. That is people come in and they're like, this is like buying a house a couple years ago. And you're like, yep. So that's kind of nice.
It's good. Awesome. Anything else new coming up, Andy, or no?
Well, of course, there's a lot of you're hitting the spring market now, and that next week or the week after, I did a little video on that too, where they've done some studies saying that this year the exact, I think it's April 9th or whatever it is the perfect week to sell your house with the amount of demand, the interest rates, the affordability, the whatever, and so there's a magic week coming up here in April that. By the way, I don't know if I put that video in the right queue. I should make sure that the timing of that is correct for you. So I get that.
I don't remember that one. We'll talk after this. Speaking of that, let's have that meeting. Do you have anything final words?
No, I just hey, don't be afraid to get out there. There's a lot of good things happening in real estate. A lot of people, like I said, are projecting appreciation over the next couple of years to be 3%, 4%, 5% a year over the next 5 years. Builders are all anticipating 2026 to be a crazy year where they think it's going to take off again. And so another year past the election for a lot of different reasons. And they think so those new houses will go up again. And so they're like, well, jump in now, lock in now before the crazy.
Good. Definitely. It sounds like things are holding on from everything I'm reading and whatnot.
It's just slow. Even all of last year, Nick, if you do the math on it, last year was like one of the slower years volume wise in like 30 years. It's slower. And people are panicking, thinking there's something wrong with the market. The problem is there's too many waiters for the amount of people in the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's a lot of waiters standing around, AKA real estate agents, waiting for their next deal. And it's like, we're good. Send them home. Cut their shift.
All right, beautiful. Hey, everyone, click that link. Hey, write us a review on the iTunes. You can do it on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Throw us some likes. But, of course, if you want to buy or sell, you know who to come to. Andy, stay on, okay? All right, guys, everyone else, have a great day.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Real Estate Radio Hour. Don't forget to visit our website, realestateradiohour.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or your preferred podcast listening app. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or sharing us with a friend. Until next time, stay awesome, Twin Cities.